So, I play a lot of video games. I may not play the most intense games all the time, and I may not be very good at it, but I definitely play a lot. As of recording this, I have 118 platinum trophies to my name. But I only started gaming in earnest about 6 years ago in 2019. So I was a full adult by the time that I actually learned how to play console games. I learned how to hold the controller, how to press the buttons and what they were, all of that stuff as an adult. But why? Why did it take me this long? So I can't exactly say that I never played any games at all as a kid, because there were a few that I did play. It's just that in order to get into gaming, you kind of have to be in the know of what games are out there and how you play them already. Like, you kind of need to get introduced to it. And I had a way that I could have gotten into games, but it didn't pan out that way. As a kid, I had this friend who was really manipulative and toxic, but she had a whole bunch of games. Their house had a whole room full of all sorts of computers that her dad was fixing. Now I think maybe there might have been something going on there, who knows. But pretty much every day after school, I would just go to her house and watch her play games. Sometimes I would get interested and want to try a game, especially we played a lot of the original The Sims. And I asked her sometimes, like, could you let me try? Can I play a little bit? But she would only let me play when our Sims were asleep, so that was great. And she also did this thing where she said, let's play a game where we do exactly what our Sims do. And then she made our Sims kiss in the hot tub and was like, all right. I didn't want to kiss her because I was not into her in that way. And also, she never really brushed her teeth and she had this gunk on her gums all the time. Now I definitely recognize that as a big red flag of parental neglect, but back then it was just like, why don't you brush your teeth? But yeah, so that wasn't really a great environment for me to get into games, but it did make me have to get The Sims for myself. And I played that a lot. I knew all of the shortcuts and all of the cheats. I knew everything. I definitely was a Sims gamer. I played all of the Sims games because that was accessible to me and that I knew to ask for. There were some other kids games that I played as well, but it's kind of hard to get into games when you don't know what you're asking for. Like, that friend that I had was also playing Rayman, and I didn't remember the name of it, and she had for some reason said that it's an English learning game. So I asked my mom for an English learning game, and instead of getting Rayman, because how would I get Rayman from that, I got this game that I will forever remember. It taught me how to say, when it's sunny, you can wear a hat or sit under an umbrella. So, if anyone knows what the game that is, I need to know because I do not remember what that was. But yeah, I went my childhood without really learning how to play many games, and then I just developed this idea that I just cannot play games, and I can't learn it either. And that was that. There were also external reasons for why I thought that I could not personally get into games. And a lot of it was gendered expectations. And also, I'm the type of person where if I feel I'm not welcome in some space, I feel really, really uncomfortable just forcibly shoving myself in there. So I felt like gaming was not a space meant for me. I felt this way about a lot of boy things, that I just wasn't welcome there. And it didn't help that there was this incident where it was my 16th birthday, I think, and I was out on the town with my best friend at the time, and weirdly enough, that same toxic friend that tried to get me to forcibly kiss her before while playing The Sims just happened to be there as we were passing this game store. And by this point, I had long since dumped her as a friend because she was really problematic in a lot of ways, but my best friend was still friends with her. So this toxic ex-friend beckoned my bestie over and just ignored me completely, and I just had to follow them into this game store where I was already feeling really awkward and uncomfortable with all these people ignoring me, and it's my birthday and I feel like nobody cares about me and I'm not welcome in this space. And then who walks in there but this guy who had been a camp counselor for me at that Christian camp that you go to when you're 15 and pretend to be Christian. And at this camp I had actually really confided in him and just told him all of my deepest darkest fears and secrets and stuff. And this guy approaches me in this game store that also sold DVDs, by the way, and he just comes up to me and asks, "What are you doing here? This is not a place for girls." And that was not a good experience for me. Never mind that I didn't know at that point that this guy was gonna end up being basically an early men's rights activist, far-right kind of guy. But back then I was a really sensitive kid and really impressionable and really felt like an outsider in a lot of situations. So that really just solidified it to me that this is not a space that I'm welcomed in. This is not for me. And that really stuck for a long time. Then, much later on in 2011, 2012, myself, like pretty much everybody else, got really into Let's Plays on YouTube. That was the golden age of those. So it was like, I can't play games myself, but this way I can vicariously experience them through other people. And that was really fun for me. I really enjoyed that. But there was one game that I really had to try for myself. And weirdly enough, that was LSD Dream Emulator. The weird Japanese PS1 game that is like a walking simulator in the truest sense of the word, where there is absolutely nothing else you can do other than to just walk around and examine these weird, surreal dream worlds. And for some reason, I wanted to solve this game. I wanted to understand it inside out and know what it is about. So I actually downloaded a PS1 emulator and played that game. And weirdly enough, as I was playing it, I had the only paranormal experience of my life, and I got it on video. It was late at night, my parents were asleep, I was still living with my parents, I was a teenager, and I was doing this really embarrassing thing where I was pretending to make a Let's Play for fun. I didn't have any intention of ever posting it on YouTube, I just wanted to make one for fun for myself. So I was speaking English really quietly so I wouldn't wake up my parents. And I didn't notice anything as I was making the video, but when I listened to it back, there was a male voice that responded to me as I was talking. And this, I cannot explain this. To this day, there is no explanation because my parents were really strict with my internet access, so they would always turn the internet off at night at 10 p.m. So there was no internet connection on my computer. And this game is in Japanese, it was never translated into English. There is no audio of anybody's voice in this game, so it couldn't have come from that. And I did not hear that as I was playing it. So that was a legitimate paranormal experience to me, and I was really genuinely freaked out by it. Like, I was crying, I was so scared, but I really treasure this experience. So if you think you know what happened there, I don't actually even want anyone to debunk it, because I want to believe that I truly had a ghostly encounter, because that's on my bucket list, and if that doesn't count, then I will have to start from zero and try to find another paranormal encounter in my life. But yeah, like as I said, I have that on video, so make of it what you will. This is the actual clip.
I feel like I just have my freaking headphones on and just record sound. I don't know.
Freaky. There's no way that was me making a different voice. I don't think I can do that. So yeah, completely unexplainable. So that was interesting. There were some other games as well that I did want to try, just like everyone else. I tried to play Slender and I made my friend play it so that I could laugh at her screaming. All of that stuff. But it didn't really get me into gaming properly. In 2016, I had this phase where I was like, this year I will learn how to play games. And I made a Steam account then, and the game that I wanted to try was Papers, Please. Because I was watching Jacksepticeye play it, and it just didn't feel like the way that I would play it, and I wanted to try for myself, see how well I do. So I played Papers, Please and a few other Steam games. I played Portal and Portal 2, and Portal was actually a really good first game to get into like 3D gaming, because at this point I did not know how to move the character and move the camera at the same time, and how to move, and just like all of these gaming principles and mechanics. I just didn't know them because I knew a lot of games because I had watched a lot of Let's Plays, but I didn't know how to game. If you haven't seen it, Rasputin has this really, really good, really interesting series, Gaming for a Non-Gamer, where he shows his wife a bunch of games and she tries to learn how to play them, and that really represents my experience of trying to learn how to game. That was very, very relatable to me, because that's how it was for me. The PC gaming trial that I didn't really lead anywhere permanently. It was just a little experiment, so I wasn't a gamer by 2016. I had played a few games, and that's it. But then, in 2019, my partner suggested that we get a PS4 together. And since I already had a bunch of games that I loved to watch people play, I felt like I wanted to buy those games and watch my partner play them. So I got Until Dawn, and we had a really fun time with that. But then after also trying stuff like Crash Team Racing, which was not my thing at all. Being a snail, I am not a great racing gamer. I figured I should play Until Dawn myself as well. And that was really good for learning what the buttons are, because it's quite hard to do quick time events when you don't know where the buttons are. So you have to look down every time, but that definitely made me have to memorize them. And Until Dawn was the first game where I achieved the Platinum Trophy, because I figured that only requires me to go through all of these paths, and I can actually do that. So all I needed to really get into gaming was a PlayStation, learn how to use the controller, and get absolutely hooked on trophy hunting. Because I don't know, with my psychology, I like to view achievement as just this big pile of things that I've done. I like to just make it a bigger pile of stuff that I've done. And somehow these trophies, even though they're virtual, the fact that every game that I play contributes to this big pile of trophies, it just really scratches my brain in that way that makes me feel really accomplished. Like, it gives me that artificial sense of accomplishment that really feels good to me. That's how I really started gaming like crazy, because I played a lot of games that year and I kind of never stopped. Obviously in the beginning I was really bad, and I was still having major issues with the controller for a long time. I had actually already tried playing with a controller a little bit before I got my own, because I had a couple of friends that let me play on their consoles. I tried to play BioShock with a friend when I could not use a controller at all, and that was a complete disaster. I tried to recreate how I moved back in that time to have a video to show you what it looked like when I could not move and move the camera at the same time, but I can't replicate it anymore because my hands are used to that movement. But then it was just like my fingers were not in conversation with each other at all, and BioShock was not the game to go with because it has multiple menus to choose stuff for your different hands for. Like, it has one hand for weapons and one hand for plasmids, and it was just a complete shit show of me trying to play that even on the easiest difficulty. So that didn't go anywhere really. But I also had a friend that I played Rayman Legends with. I finally got my Rayman experience, and that was really fun. So when I had my own console, I also got Rayman Legends, and I got the Platinum Trophy for that, even though it took months and months and months of daily and weekly challenges that you had to do to get all the trophies that you need for the Platinum. That was my first properly rare Platinum, and that was really rewarding to get. So yeah, I played a lot of games. I got kind of instantly really into Resident Evil, and I played a lot of Resident Evil games right away. Of course, on the easiest assisted modes, and I really struggled, but I really fell in love with that franchise, and I've kept with that. And it's actually really funny because I don't have a lot of footage of me playing games from the very start of my gaming hobby, but I think I accidentally saved this clip of me playing Resident Evil Revelations back in 2019 when I had played a lot of games, but I was still getting used to the controls. And I can't believe how stilted my movements are compared to now, because when I looked at this clip and I hadn't played the game for a long time, I thought that it just had like tank controls like the old games. But I played that last year on Infernal mode, no less. I got all of the campaign trophies, and look at the difference between how I played back then versus how I play now. It's insane to me, the difference that I've made, because I still hold on to these beliefs that I'm a really shit gamer in a lot of respects, and I still have some games that I bought back then when I started, like God of War 2018, that I just didn't start playing then because I thought it would be too hard for me, and I've kind of retained that thought that these games are too hard for me. But I've gotten the platinum for Resident Evil 4, and I've done a lot of games on the hardest difficulty since then. I've got 2 Uncharted platinums, so I still think of myself as a newbie gamer. I still think I'm in the middle of learning, but I'm definitely a gamer now. And I think that I have a pretty interesting perspective to trophy hunting, especially since, you know, I've been doing it for such a short time, but I've gotten a lot of platinums in that time. Some of them are shovelware, I'm not afraid to admit that, but you know, there's a lot of actual games in there, and I really do enjoy getting platinums for games that I really enjoy digging into. So that's just the backstory of how I got into this trophy hunting craze that I'm in now, and I have been for the last many years, because I'm sure in future videos I will be mentioning this a lot, and this video is kind of there so that I have something to link back to in case you're wondering why did you only start gaming in 2019 if you're so into games. I was always very into games. Back when the Silent Hill movie came out, like it was new enough that there were posters of it around town. I did watch that then, and I got really into Silent Hill. Like, I was reading about Silent Hill, and I did watch a few cutscenes, but I didn't really get the whole PS1, PS2 graphics thing. It was really strange to me, and YouTube was still kind of a new thing then. I did make my YouTube account that I used for watching videos in 2006 though, so I was an early adopter, but I never really even considered that I could play the Silent Hill games. I just watched a lot of Let's Plays of them and a lot of video essays. So I was exactly that meme of biggest fan of Silent Hill 2, about to play the game for the first time, very excited. That was me, legit. I'm gonna be making videos about my gaming journey and my trophy hunting journey here on this channel from here on out, so if you're interested, stick around, like and subscribe and all of that stuff. It would really help me out as I'm just barely starting this channel out. And let me know in the comments if you also started gaming at a late age, and how was it for you? And what was the reason that it took you so long? I don't really hear from gamers like me that much. It feels like everyone started trophy hunting back when they introduced trophies on the PS3, or maybe a little later, but always gamed. So I'd really like to hear if there are other people with kind of similar types of experiences and how you feel about it. But yeah, that's about all I had to say in this video. Thanks for watching if you made it all the way to the end, and maybe see you in the next one. Bye!